Y'all, I'm extremely conflicted. Reason being is that I was fortunate enough to get invited to playtest a game that I've been waiting on for years. But when I actually get into the nitty-gritty of it, I've got a lot of positives, but also some concerns. So don your mask and avoid the cameras at all costs as we talk about Payday 3. And if you enjoy what you see today, be sure to sub to the channel. Okay, let's continue. For those who are unaware of the franchise, let me give you a quick rundown. The Payday franchise is an action-filled first-person shooter that lets players take on the role of hardened career criminals executing intense, dynamic heists in a constant pursuit of the next big score. In Payday 3, you take the role of Dallas, Chains, Hoxton, and or Wolf that have been ripped away from their peaceful retirement of 7 years to rejoin the criminal world by a new threat, born from the chaos the crew left in their wake. The game is being made by Starbreeze Studios and published by Deep Silver, the same studio responsible for bangers like Dead Island 2 and career-ruining stinkers like the Saints Row reboot. When I first saw the reveal for Payday 3, I legit thought I was dreaming, right? Like, Payday 2 had a decade full of content that did a fantastic job of not only generating money for the developers, but kept the community engaged for thousands of hours. And honestly, I didn't think it was gonna end. Nonetheless, Payday is back, it's looking better than ever, but I have some stuff I need to say about this game while it's in a playtest state. Before we dive into the feedback, let me go ahead and do the best I can to describe what the game features, as well as what I like about the playtest. Also, I'm gonna be comparing this to Payday 2 a lot, mostly because that was my first and only Payday game I've played so far. Also, take a shot every time I say Payday 2. The first one that blows 5 times over the legal limit wins. Alright. Go. First, the main menu looks a lot better, a lot more clean, and just easier to read compared to Payday 2. Right now, there's only one heist you can do in which you steal money, but what I love is that now there's a risk of die packs ruining the money and making it basically useless. On top of that, there's a chance that you'll need to disable roadblocks the PD set up before you can actually leave. In Payday 2, the only thing you had to worry about are either the cops taking the bags or your dumbass teammates not bagging the money because they only want to hit the minimum requirement. Moving into the loadouts, the screen that they have now is just so much cleaner, it's easier, and it's just so much better to navigate. There are also now weapon levels, which I believe are a new concept to the franchise. The higher the weapon level, the more attachments you can unlock. It's a lot different compared to the other games where a lot of them require you to either complete certain jobs, get certain achievements, and other requirements as well. What I like the most about this is that aesthetically you can see what the gun looks like and not just a white outline of the gun. But what would sell it for me is if the attachments would show on the weapon inside of the loadout screen. If there's a way to make that happen, golden. A+ across the board. When it comes to the vendors, there are multiple things to choose from that make customizing everything so much easier and less hectic. For example, the only thing you have to do to unlock either weapons, masks, or suits or anything else like that is just to level up. Purchasing the items, however, is intriguing, as there are 2 ways to purchase them now: cash and C-stacks. Now, I first saw the C-stacks and I immediately thought to myself, well, shit. They've gone down the paid currency route. But to my surprise, you buy the C-stack with money that you acquire in-game. The more C-stack you buy using cash, the more cash you'll need to spend to convert more of it. It's definitely an interesting concept and something that bears somewhat of a resemblance to Continental coins in Payday 2. It's honestly got me wondering how they're going to expand on it during the full release. When talking about mass customization, it feels so much more enjoyable than having to constantly choose 3 cards and hope you get something lucky from it. And don't get me wrong, I would love for that system to come back because it does add a little bit of excitement and thrill after a good heist, but I want them to keep what they got going on in the playtest currently. Speaking of customization, for the mask, you can actually buy colors and patterns directly from the screen, which is a huge step forward in my eyes. Moving on to the enemies, pretty much every enemy in the game has a new look while still bearing some sort of resemblance to Payday 2. The ones that are the most notable in my eyes are the shield and the zapper. However, none of them hit harder than an inebriated uncle watching UFC than the new Cloaker outfit. Compare that to its Payday 2 counterpart, there's no damn contest on which one is better. There are also some small things that I like as well, like the new lockpicking system, the fact that you can slide, and the fact that you can now use hostages as a human shield. So now that we've covered what the game has to offer and diving in a little bit about what I like, let me go ahead and tell you what I don't like. To kick it off, the fact that the playtest has only only one map and one mode is a little disheartening. It's fun the first handful of times because you're trying to learn everything, but after that, I started getting the feeling of, I wish there was just more to do. I can understand if they don't want to give away too much, but I feel like it would have been better on them to show us more in the playtest to continue that anticipation for the game's full release. Another thing I noticed is that the gunplay is sort of meh. You know, it's not garbage, but it's also not as good as Payday 2's gunplay. Outside of that, I don't think there's much else I have to say. The positives definitely outweigh the negatives for me, but I know a couple people that aren't too thrilled and are waiting for the game to fully come out to either play it for themselves or wait for the reviews. Let's move on and quickly talk about the content, because seeing the year one roadmap has me stiffer than a granite countertop. When we look at this roadmap, we've got DLC planned out from winter of 2023 all the way into fall of 2024, alongside seasonal updates, cosmetics, quality of life updates, and so much more. This is what I love to see. I love to see the devs already coming up with a game plan to keep the game alive, healthy, and thriving. When you think about the DLC stacked on top of the additional content, these updates are going to be filled to the brim. I think that's about it I want to talk about for now. If you want to look at the Steam page, pre-order the game, or anything like that, I'll go ahead and drop the link for it down below. For my final thoughts, I am so damn excited for this game to finally come out. Payday 2 has been one of the funnest PvE experiences that still holds up well 10 years later, but I'm glad to see it finally getting a sequel. However, when I experienced the mechanics of the playtest for Payday 3, I can't help but be a tad bit concerned with the game's long-term success. Payday 2 felt really arcadey and really free as far as what you were able to do. At first it feels a little weird obviously, but over time you get used to it and it just feels natural. When compared to Payday 3, it feels like they're trying to be more realistic. Like, I don't know if that's the correct word, but there's definitely something different about the way it functions, and I don't know if I like it as much as I thought I would. One of the biggest complaints that I'm seeing is that the game is bland and uninspired, right? And if we're basing it off the playtest, I can understand that, considering that the bank heist is the only thing you're able to play, but I'm not going to agree with it until the game comes out. Now, I'm going to keep it a buck with you all. I thought that was going to be the end of my thoughts until I took a look at Reddit to see what the community thinks about Payday 3, and my lord, are they unhappy. I thought to myself, I know that gamers get mad all the time about stuff, right? Especially at dumb shit. Fucking pronouns! But it can't be that bad, right? Well, for starters, Payday 3 is going to be online only. Why the hell is this a thing anymore? Payday 2 was great because not only could you play online with other people and your friends, but you could also play offline with just the AI. Now that's being taken away. Why? Beats the f out of me at this point. Another thing people point out is replayability, and while I think you can't entirely judge something like that on the playtest, I do see that being something interesting the devs are gonna have to figure out. Like I had mentioned, Payday 2 has had 10 years of content, hundreds of updates, and something to always keep the community engaged and active. At the end of the day, what are they gonna do to either A, be on that same level, or B, one-up it? There are also a couple of other things like the fact that de novo is gonna be a thing in Payday 3, the claims that Starbreeze ignored the Payday 2 community for the longest time about critical things, and that how they may become apparent in Payday 3, but that's stuff I could cover in a separate video if y'all are interested. At the end of the day, this game is highly anticipated, and no matter what anyone else says, including myself, we have to trust that Starbreeze is going to do the right things and right those wrongs that they did with Payday 2 over the years to be able to instill that trust back in the community. And personally, I'm gonna play it until it gives me a reason not to. Now I turn the mic to you. Let me know down below what you think about Payday 3. And while you're down there, go ahead and smash that like button and convert that sub button to all so YouTube can show you my content free of charge. Also, consider becoming a member. It's $3 a month. You get some perks that are well worth it. I'll leave a link for that down below. This is Sir Blackout going to see if I can apply for a bank loan while wearing a mask. In game, of course. Later.